Hello everybody, today I am doing part 2 of my driving tour of Rimrock, Arizona, which is actually going to be through Rimrock Lake Montezuma area, and it will be just like you're getting in the car with me and we're taking a drive, and I'm giving you a little bit of a tour with the knowledge of the things that I know. So buckle up and let's take a little drive. Alright, I've just gotten off Interstate 17 on exit 293. I'm going into Rimrock. The feed store we just passed on the left. There's a couple of antique stores. There is a gas station that we just passed on the right. I'm going over one of the passes of the creek. The main difference from the video that I did about 4 months ago is that was in wintertime, so it wasn't as green. Today, it's I actually did the driving part the last day of July, so it's very green. Now, take a look at the left. That is Bice Road. Now, when I did the video part 1, I told you that the road into Bice Road was very primitive. There's ruts, there's potholes, and so don't go in there if you don't have a truck, maybe. But what's happened is they recently paved part of Bice Road, so actually going into there, it's paved, and you do, at some point, the pavement runs out, and then you will have the bad, kind of yucky dirt road. Not horrible, but you might want a truck if you're thinking of really buying something in there. And in that little area off of Bice, there are lots of homes on acreage, like maybe 1 acre. You might have a manufactured home on acreage, so it's a good value in that area if you don't mind the kind of primitive road. So the channel is Living in Northern Arizona. I cover videos about the northern Arizona towns every single week. Again, I did a driving tour of Rimrock about 4 months ago, and this time I am doing, I'm going to take you more on the Lake Montezuma side of Rimrock, so a little bit different, but right now is a little bit of the same. You could see there are some businesses in here. There's a couple of storage facilities. On the right, there is a Dollar General. There's a Family Dollar. On the left, there is the fire station. So there is a nice fire station here in Rimrock. There are a couple of storage lockers. There is not a grocery store, but there are a couple convenience markets, and the $2 stores actually have groceries. But if you want your full-blown grocery store, you're going to go to Camp Verde, which is probably about 10 minutes south, and there is a Bash's in Camp Verde. There's also a Northern Arizona healthcare facility that has an urgent care facility. Again, you'll see some of these businesses we just passed, like a Thai restaurant. On the left, we're also passing Robbie's Cafe, which is a nice popular area for the locals. Now, coming up is going to be where the last time I continued on to the left, which took you to past the Beaver Creek School. It took you to Montezuma Well and some houses in there. Now I'm going to the right. I'm going to go up the hill so you kind of see the views you might get from the hillside, and I'm going to take you kind of towards where the golf course is and the creek. Now, this gas station that we're passing on the left actually has really good gas prices most of the time. It's got a convenience store, and it also has a liquor store. So again, now we're driving in towards the Lake Montezuma part of Rimrock. Now, the zip code 86335 has Lake Montezuma, Rimrock, McGuireville, and the stats I'm going to give you are for the whole area because it's so small, it's hard to get stats broken out in that tiny of an area. So I can tell you the population for the entire zip code is about 4,600 residents. Now, another thing to know about Rimrock Lake Montezuma is bestplaces.net, which is where I get a lot of information on the small towns that I profile in the video, is voted it number 6 out of 46 emerging metropolitan areas. So it is growing. People are liking to move in here because it's still a little bit rural, and yet prices are still somewhat affordable. Now, I am crossing the creek right now, and on this area towards the left where you see that flagpole and that little sign, on my way out I actually spotted a deer that was kind of grazing in here. So again, it's still a bit rural. You can see deer on the creek. You could see birds, so it's quite nice. Look at these big, beautiful, tall cottonwood trees. They look really good in the summertime. I do like this little area that we're going into towards the creek, but I do want to mention that some of these homes, if they're backing up to the river, they're going to be in flood zone AE, and they may require you to have some flood insurance. But do note, like, the houses in here are really kind of nice, kind of family-oriented homes. Now in Rimrock, you'll see a lot of these single-family homes, and you will see some manufactured homes on land. There are not a lot of condos. There are no, well, I was going to say there are no parks, but there actually is an RV park. But again, single-family homes or manufactured homes on land. Right now, the median list price as of August 1st, 2024 in Rimrock is about $450,000, and the median price per square foot is $271 per square foot, which is actually quite affordable for Arizona. Rent in Rimrock, probably about $2,000 a month, and the market action index, which tells you how hot or cold the market is 35, which indicates it's a slight seller's market in Rimrock, Arizona. So you'll see a lot of these single family homes and the manufactured homes. What has been happening since I've been selling real estate in here, which has been 5, 6, 7 years, is there are these nice, big, beautiful existing homes, but a lot of investors and builders, small builders, have bought up lots as they come up for sale, and then they will build a spec home or maybe put a brand new manufactured home on land. So you are seeing some new stuff. Look at that one on the right. I love that yellow house. I think I showed that many years ago. So you'll see some new stuff mixed in with some of the older stuff. But again, this is a really lovely family community in here, and very green this time of year. So let me tell you a little bit more about myself to the channel. Living in northern Arizona, I do post videos every single week about living in the northern Arizona towns, and I am a real estate agent here in the state of Arizona. So if you ever have a question about buying or selling real estate and you want to get hold of me, my contact information is always in the description below, so you can give me a call, text, or an email, and I will get back to you. I do sell primarily in Sedona, Verde Valley. Now Rimrock is one of the Verde Valley towns. There's Cottonwood, Camp Verde, Clarkdale, Cornville, and Rimrock. When I say Rimrock, I mean, Rimrock, like Montezuma, this whole area inside the zip code. So now I'm going to kind of drive up the hill. I want to give you a little bit of information about the homes for sale in Rimrock. The very least expensive home in Rimrock right now is a manufactured home on land for $185,000. Now that home is very distressed. It's actually perfect for an investor, but I did show it to an investor, and they were not budging very much on the price. So you're probably not going to get it for much less than the $185 asking price, maybe a teeny bit, but it does need a lot of work inside. Actually, it's on a beautiful lot, but the inside, very distressed, smells very strong of cats. So just keep that in mind. Probably not something you'd want to live in, but if you're an investor, you might like that. Most of the houses are starting in the 300s. In fact, the cheapest single-family home, which I'm going to drive by at some point and tell you a little bit about this one because I think it's a great deal. I've showed this one. Cheapest single-family home in Rimrock, Lake Montezuma is $365,000. I will tell you more about that. The most expensive one right now is $850,000. Now, I have seen them higher than that, but right now, which is August 1st, 2024, that is the highest priced house for sale in Rimrock. Right now, it's summertime. Usually the high temperature in July is around 100. It does get hotter than that, but around 100 average high in July. The average low in January, about 27 degrees. Rimrock does get about 14 inches of rain every year and maybe 2 inches of snow. So what's nice about that is you might get a storm blow through, you get a light dusting, and then it will be gone the next day. You don't have to plow the road, you don't have to shovel your driveway. You may have to scrape the ice off your windshield, but it's really a pretty nice winter in Rimrock and in the Verde Valley. Now, the one thing about this particular area where I'm driving up the hill, it's actually a really nice drive, but you can see it's a little bit narrow. The road does curve, if I lived here when my kids were teenagers and I had teenage drivers, I would be really worried about them coming up and down this, because you tend to go a little bit, you can go fast going down the hill and it's curvy, and teenagers, you know, that's something to worry about. But now you could see a little bit towards the left, some of these homes have a good view of Mingus Mountain, which looks beautiful in the snow. Some of them actually are facing Sedona, and you could have a good view of the red rocks of Sedona, which is really nice, especially when you consider the prices in Rimrock are about maybe two-thirds, maybe half or two-thirds of what the prices are for the same exact home in Sedona. So that's just keep in mind if you are like, oh, I really want to live in Sedona, but I can't afford it. Some of these neighboring towns like Rimrock would give you an opportunity to have a house with a good view, but with a much lower price tag. So I am driving through one of the neighborhoods now that I really like. So at the end of this road here, what is nice is I'm going to come across, and I have to cut a little bit out of the camera because otherwise this video would be 45 minutes. But the homes on the right here, on the right side of the road, which you're not going to be able to see because the camera is mounted on the left side, but they are facing out to this national forest. So you've got a view of the national forest and nobody living over here. Now I've gotten to the end of the road. I am going to turn around right now, but it's really nice if you want a good view like that. Now, one of the things you have to consider if you're buying a house in any of these rural areas, if you're thinking of making an offer on something, first find out if it's in a flood zone, because if it is, you want to get a quote on flood insurance. And second, some of the areas, especially if the home is right next to the national forest, you want to check and see what your homeowner's insurance rates are, because I know in some parts of the country and even in Arizona, some of the homeowners insurance rates have gone up just because of the potential forest fire risks, and the just prices of everything have gone up. So just keep that in mind. Right now I have not noticed anyone in particular that was very high, but just something to think about. Now again, good prices in this neighborhood. There's one that we are about to cross or pass that's listed by one of my colleagues that I used to work with, and it's a really good deal. $365,000 for, it's about a 1,200 square foot house, 3-bedroom, 1-bath, but it's been totally remodeled. It has a really nice yard, and it's all fenced in. So inside of the house, you can actually see Mingus Mountain. So if you want any information on that particular house, give me a call, text, or email. I'll get back to you, and I could even arrange a showing for it. Now, as of August 1st, which is today, I can't show you any homes without getting a document signed, a buyer broker employment agreement. So keep that in mind. No realtor is going to be able to do that, show you any house without that, because the fine could be $5,000 for me and maybe up to $7,000 for my broker. So that's just one thing. I can give you any information on it for free, but if I'm going to show it to you, here you are. We're passing it right now. Really nice house for $365,000. If you are a first-time home buyer or you're trying to downsize because you're older, I would definitely recommend that. Anyhow, that's the story about Rimrock, McGuireville. My name's Dawn Dickinson, the channel Living in Arizona, living in Northern Arizona. If you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. Come back next week, subscribe to the channel. Look in my contact information is in the description below.